Hello everyone, welcome back to Base Damage, hope you are all doing well. Today I wanted to take a look at the Bunny Girl Senpai set that we're supposed to be getting in March. Before we get into the first impressions part of this, and it is a decently sized booster pack that we're getting because it's based off the movies and everything. So there is a lot to go over. I'm going to try to go through this as quick as I can, but there is something I wanted to point out real quickly. When I was initially looking at this up here, on the English Weiss site, I was scrolling down. I didn't notice a particular piece of information here. I just had scrolled down to the hot stamps and everything and saw that there was nothing up here for Mai. And like I said, we're going to address this in just a second here. But I did see this thing where it says Asami Seto as Knapsack Kid, which is Mai right there, who is, Asami Seto is the voice actress for Mai Sakurajima from Rascal Does Not Dream series. So, there's a hot stamp containing the one for Mai in here, but it doesn't list Mai specifically. So I was like, okay, well, let me see if there's been any issues. And I did an unspeakable evil. I went on Twitter. I know. Calm down. I had to go up there, and the only post of Bunny Girl as of the recording of this. I'm recording this February 4th. I have not, seen any other postings. This was the only post on the English Weiss Twitter. I was about to say English Weiss site. The English Weiss Twitter page. And this was the only thing I could find. And when you click this link right here, it just takes you back here. And it says, please be informed that the contents of this product differs from the Japanese version. And I don't have it pulled up. I have a different browser pulled up to the side. On this particular thing here, I can't pull it up because I'm not signed in on this browser. But on here, there's only two replies. And I'm just going to read those out real quick. The first one, I'm not going to say the name of the people. If y'all want to see who the hell posted the comments and whatever, that's up to you, but I'm not going to expose them. The vagueness of the contents of this product differs from the Japanese version statement is concerning. Please can you put up a clarification of what is changing sooner rather than later, as there are people who will hold off buying until they're sure of what is changing. This post was made back in it says right here, October 18th. That comment was made the same day, back in October. No replies, no other postings or anything. And then obviously, the second post, the second comment up here saying, are there signatures for Mai Sakurajima? Please let us know. And from what I can tell, and from what I did scouring over Twitter, there doesn't seem to be any posts saying that they did like a Rurouni Kenshin. Future me, if you want to put up the picture, where for Kenshin, they changed from signatures to just hot stamp quotes, and I didn't like that anyway, so I'm going to avoid really getting the set. So this has been on Twitter and whatnot since October 18th. I don't know if they've posted up anything anywhere else. If there have been any updates, someone in the comment section, please state so. Because I have no earthly idea if we're actually getting SPs with this, which doesn't make sense considering, because it says a hot stamped sign card from the following cast, and it says the VAs up here. So it doesn't seem like there's any issue with that. It's just weird that they don't list Mai specifically and they just put Knapsack Kid when there is a Mai SP in the set. It's not like there isn't a version of her that was supposed to have one. It's kind of weird. I don't know. But also when I looked over, I saw all the different going first and going second cards. It just looks really cool, little promos and everything. The movie titles on a particular playmat, I thought that was kind of cool. Obviously, you can still use it with the previous sets and everything, but I just wanted to point this out. We're supposed to be getting this March 28th of this year, so we shall see, but let us dive into the actual first impressions real quick. Wasting enough time is over at this point. So let's hop right into it. So this is a 100 card set, and it's not a fucking premium booster, thank God. Oh man, I'm so happy to see actual sets and not premium boosters. Even though I'm going to be buying the P3 premium booster because I hate myself. Anyway, let's get right into this. For anyone who's never listened to one of my first impressions videos before, I usually try to at least highlight the double rares in every color and then still kind of glance through and point out anything that I think would be kind of cool or whatever. I still read over every single card, but I try to at least highlight the double rares. I might have said triple rares a second ago, but the double rares. Sorry if I said the wrong thing. But yeah, see, we do have SPs in here and everything for Kaede and Nodoka and everything. So let's go ahead and start with the yellows. We have a 001K Kaede. When you trigger a climax, look at the top card of your deck. Put it on top of your deck or into your waiting room, then choose one of your characters. It gets 1,000 power. And a brainstorm of mill 4 for each climax. Salvage back a character. Just pay 1 and rest yourself. So, very nice. Solid double rare. Okay. Then we have a 3/2 85 Nodoka. If you have 2 or less climaxes in your waiting room, this gets -1 level in hand. And for each of your other back row adolescence characters, adolescence being the what is basically the centered trait throughout the entire set, like music is for like Love Live and Bang Dream. This gets 1,000 power for each of them, so she can gain up to 2k, so she'll be a 10-5. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose one of the following 2 effects and resolve it. Oh, this is interesting. You can either heal 1 or make your opponent mill 10 cards, and she gets an extra 3k till end of turn. That just seems really fun. Like, I'm seeing all these different milling card effects recently, and I'm just really enjoying the idea of this. Of just, like, force your opponent to refresh. Just seems funny to me. And it's, like, on play. It's not a climax or anything. It's just great. Anyway. Let's see. Then we have a 3/2 95 Kaede. Experience. If you have a particular yellow 1/1 event and a particular 1/1 Kaede in your level, this gets -a level in hand. So we have specific card experience in level. When the choice trigger is placed in your climax area and this is in your front row, choose one of the following 2 effects and resolve it. Either, search your deck for up to 3 adolescence characters, show them to your opponent. Add 1 to hand, send 1 to stock, and send the remaining to your waiting room. Shuffle your deck afterwards, and this gains 3k power till end of turn. Interesting how the 3k is recurring. That's kind of funky. Or burn your opponent for 2 damage. Just whether this needs to be an engine or it needs to be a finisher, get you a girl that can do both, I guess? Question mark? She's not my favorite, but still, she's awesome. Interesting. All right, so that is it for the double rares for yellow. So I'm just going to kind of glance through, and if I see anything kind of cool, we'll point it out. We have a Kaede, placed on stage, or on attack, look at the top card and either put it back on top or waiting room. And it's a stock reverser, okay. A Kaede and Mai, choose... Okay, so we do have a little bit of level correction stuff here. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose 1 card from your level zone and 1 card in your waiting room, and you may swap them. So already off to a really good start for that whole like crazy experience thing. So you can guaranteed get those cards in your experience, whether the natural way or if you need this to correct it. Really nice. And it specifically works with those too. Oh, this is actually really cool because you can do this as a first effect to correct it, and then you can use this effect afterwards. When this is placed on stage from hand, if you have the same 1/1 event and the same 1/1 Kaede in your level zone, you can pay the cost, which is discard a card, search your deck for 1 adolescence character, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. So you can purposely do this effect first, make certain you have the correct ones, and then activate this effect. To which then you probably just specifically search for this level 3 Kaede to early play it. So interesting. I'm loving the synergy so far. Okay. The bunny girl be cooking. Let's see. We got a Mai. And this is gonna matter because there's like the level 3 Mai that we were talking about for the whole SP thing. You have to have cards in your memory with different names. I believe it was different names. So this is one of those, which there's plenty of different name ones from the first couple sets. When this is reversed, you can pay 1, pitch 1, send this to memory, choose a card in your clock, add it to hand, put the top card of your deck into clock. So like a little bit of filtering, a little bit of like trying to just get specific cards that you need, but it's more the fact that it goes to memory to set up for other cards is like the main thing. And she gets above for a turn. Okay. We got another Mai. 2 or less stock gets above. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, you may send that character to the stock. If you do send the bottom card of your opponent's stock to the waiting room. It's like the Hakuro from Slime. Very nice. We got a Climax combo, Kaede. For each of your other back row adolescents, she gets a 1k constant, so it should be 106k. When this attacks you for the choice, look at it. When you have another adolescence, look it up to 4. Choose an adolescence or a specific event, add it to hand. All right, so we got a pretty good engine going around for that. Once again, working around this very specific event. Gonna have to highlight that since 3 cards have mentioned it now. So, which even that card might have something to like send itself to level, I guess. I don't know. But really cool, really cool. Just your typical like kind of Amelia-esque top check and just add a card to hand, just for free. Don't have to reverse. You can't really complain about that one. Uzuki. During the turn, this is placed on stage from hand. When the battle opponent becomes reversed. Oh, it's like the Ranga. Basically, a effect to pay a cost to search your deck after you reverse. Actually, was that Ranga? There was a Ranga level 1 from Slime that did something similar, but I don't remember if that was a salvage or a search. I think it might have been a search. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong. But okay, so we get some extra searching effects. Okay, this is the 1/1 Kaede that was showing before. Okay. So this was one of the ones you need to have in your level, but if you have the event in your hand, the event in hand gets -1 cost constantly. All of your other of that event in any area gains a soul trigger. Oh, in any area, so you could grab back that event with a choice trigger. One, it's also if you trigger it, it counts as an extra soul. But if you trigger a choice, because it's a level 1 or higher card, or it's a card with a crit trigger, you could add that back. Can you? My brain's trying to remember choice. I don't know why I can't fucking remember this. Hold on. I'm literally reaching over to Gura. Let me see. Give me Callie's Climax here. Okay, hold on. Reading it. Okay, this is... So you can't grab it back. I'm sorry. So choice specifically reads, when this card triggers, you may choose one character with a crit trigger in its icon in your waiting room, return it to your hand, or put it into your stock. Okay, so no. So you can... So that would be like what I would think would be the synergy. And maybe there's another card that says you can grab back events that have crit triggers or something. I don't know, but you clearly can't, but it just gives it an extra crit trigger in the... when you trigger it. Instead of like having it be a choice target. Okay. And so level assist. Okay. Moving on. Kaede that can move to an open position of your back row. Okay, this works with a card in a previous set. Yeah, it's one of the other... it's like a 1/1 target, I think. This lets you search your deck for that Nodoka, and then it gives that Nodoka a buff and the top checking effect. Okay. Uzuki lets you deal yourself a damage to top check. If it's in front row center, it gets +1 soul. Very nice. Kaede. Okay. If you have the event in your level zone, this gains 3k power, so it'll be constant 1065, and it's a level 2 Slayer. Okay. Nodoka, each of your opponent's back row characters, this gets 1500 power. So it also becomes like a 1065, and you can sack it to give a battling character 1500 power. Okay. Looks like she's mogging. I don't know. I know it's not, but it just... I just saw that, and I'm just like, oh, okay. Let's see. When this attacks, if you have a climax with a choice trigger in your climax area, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's a level 1 or higher during the trigger step, of this attack, perform trigger check twice. Interesting. Huh. Okay. Sorry, I just had to read. When this is placed on stage from hand, choose one of your other... it's a Kaede and a Kotomi. I didn't say this. More trigger checking twice. Oh, this is interesting. Because I've seen just bouncing effects like this be a little bit more prominent. This might be a thing. It's an act ability to sack itself to send one of your opponent's characters back to their hand. Excuse me. All right. A 3/2 Uzuki that on play you can pay 1 to grab back a climax. And if it reverses a level 2 or higher battle opponent, grab an adolescence character from waiting room and send it to stock. Okay. Sakuta and Sakuta and Miwako. Miwako who? Anyway. Global buff. Pay a cost salvage. Uzuki climax combo. It lets you do some salvaging. Wait, hold on. Let me make certain I'm reading this correctly. When the choice trigger is placed, and you have 2 or more, mill 1. If that's a level 0 or lower, put 1 card from the top of your deck into stock. 1 or 2, choose one of your adolescence characters and it gets a +1 soul. If it's a 3 or higher, salvage back. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. I need to make certain I'm reading. It has a variable effect depending on what you mill. That's wonky. Vanilla Kaede, just being cute. Mai, if you have 2 or more other adolescence characters. This gains 3k power and the following ability, continuous. Why does this get a buff? This is weird. Anyway, it works with a specific 2/1 Mai. It gives that Mai 1,000 power and +1 soul. That's coming up number 26. We do have to be mindful of that. And on play, you can specifically search for that Mai. It's just weird that this gets a buff to basically be a 105k and then still, like, you just move it to the back to give the Mai a buff, I guess? I don't know. I guess, once again, get your girl that can do both. Offense and assist. I don't know. God bless. Okay, this is a really nice backup. 2k backup, and when you use the backup, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an adolescence or the specific event, add it to hand and discard a card. Uzuki. Interesting. It's a 2/1. When this attacks, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is an adolescence character, all of your characters get plus 3k power and plus 2 souls? Okay. That's kind of funny to me. You can really soul rush with something like this. Anyway, sorry. It just kind of stands out. It's kind of funky. Okay, this is the 2/1 Mai. It has a climax combo. 2/1 Kaede. If you have the event in your level, this gets 45, so she's a 10/5 constant, and a adolescence character encore. Battle opponent comes reversed. If you have a climax, look it up to 3. Choose one amongst them, add to hand, and then discard a card. Okay. Oh, send the rest back on top of your deck in any order. Sorry, that actually matters. A 2/1 Mai. If you have 4 or more adolescence characters, this gains -a level in hand. Very nice. So no buffs. She just stays at 7k, but she becomes an 8k with the choice trigger. Have to have a full field. Up to 1 time per turn when this card's damage is canceled. Choose it to 1 character in your waiting room, add it to hand. Choose it to 1 adolescence character in your waiting room, send it to stock. Got you. So if her damage gets canceled, which would be really funny if you're able to pull this off at like level 2 with the other one and just like give the plus souls and everything. Try to really, really push for damage, and if the damage just gets canceled, who cares? So, Nidoka. She gets a huge buff if you attack a level 3 or higher, and the buff stays for like a whole turn. She ends up becoming like a 12k. Funky. Level 3 Slayer, that's absolutely nuts. All right. This is the event we've been talking about this entire fucking time. 1/1. Choose 1 adolescence character in your waiting room, add it to hand. Choose 1 card in your level zone and 1 card from your waiting room. You may swap them. This is already just really good. I don't think you can send it self, but if there's already another copy of this in the waiting room, you can go ahead and do it. So you have basically 2 different ways of making certain that you get the cards into your level zone, and this is being one of the main things for it. If this card is in your level zone and you have the 1/1 Kaede and the okay, it replaces itself. Okay, so this is like some Guilty Gear shenanigans. Okay, sorry. I'm just rereading this. If this is in your level zone, you have the 1/1 Kaede we mentioned before, the level 3 Kaede that we talked about at the very beginning that was the early play. At the start of your opponent's attack phase, you can pay 4, send this face-up card to memory, then choose one Adolescence character in your waiting room, send it to your level zone. So it does swap. If you do choose one of your opponent's characters, this turn it gets -3 soul. Interesting. I don't know how often that's going to come up, but that could, like, make or break a game, I guess. I don't know. Interesting. All right, we have quite a bit of choice triggers here. I had to make certain I wasn't looking at Love Life for a half second. Yeah, just cute all around. Mega cutes. Just saying. Anyway, all right, now we're into the greens. All right, so oh god, okay, we made through a lot more than I thought in the amount of time we had. Okay, so starting with the greens, the double rares. Only one double rare. Hold on. Oh, okay. So just the one double rare that I have to highlight, and then we kind of go back to mumbling again. 1045. When a climax is placed in your climax area, choose one of your characters. It gets 1000 power. So you can give it to herself if you need. Oh, you especially need that. Okay. When the gold bar is placed in your climax area and you have 2 or more other Adolescence characters, choose one of your characters. It gains the following ability. When this card's battle opponent is reversed, search your deck for one Adolescence character, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, shuffle your deck afterwards. So, this very much like feels like the Korone climax combo set up, the birthday Korone from the trial deck, from one of the Hololive trial decks, where you could give the on reverse search effect to another character. Like you just basically could just do that and then use the first effect as well to just kind of super buff like one specific character and get a whole bunch of searches off. So, I guess if you had 3 of this and you played all of them onto one copy, what would you hit? Choose one of your characters. So you would give 3000 power and the gold bar. You're sitting at a 1085 before, like with one of them before anything else buffs. You're probably gonna get the reverse at that point, maybe. I mean, don't play against AOT, otherwise they're just gonna like screw you over in that regard, but still. Rio, second best girl. Let's see. On play or on death, pay 1, pitch 1 to salvage. Okay. Give someone negative power. Knapsack girl. Let's see. When you pay the cost of the 3/2 knapsack girl climax combo, you may discard this card in place of 2 cards. That's interesting. We're going to see that in just a minute here, but that's interesting. Start of your opponent's draw phase, mill 2. If there's a level 2 or higher card amongst those, return this to hand. A little bounce back effect. Oh, shit. Okay, hold on. What the fuck? I saw discard 5 cards. What the fuck? Anyway, 1/1 first. When you trigger a climax, discard a climax, draw 1, discard, then salvage back a Adolescence. Rest this, give it Adolescence 25. 3/2 Knapsack Girl. On play, heal 1. When this attacks, if you have the gold bar, discard 5. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent, then deal 5 damage to your opponent. I mean, even if you discard 2 of these, that counts for 4 of the cards. Then you still have to discard 3 cards for just one of these. And specific names at that. Otherwise, you are pitching 5? Eee, this is a yikes. I'm sorry, I don't like that. I haven't seen any Eat Ski level effects that are like increase your max hand size. Add fucking 3 cards from, for the climax combo to hand. Like, this doesn't seem like it's worth it, but if anybody else wants to mess with this, go right ahead, I don't judge. Let's see. Tomoe. Choose one of your opponent's characters, send it to memory. Oh, just blips them out. Okay. Place on stage from hand. But Adolescence to clock. Look it up to 5. Choose a character amongst them, add it to hand. Okay. Sakuta. The main boy. The rascal himself. Oh, it's a clean cut. Right? Yeah. It's a level 1 clean cut. What the fuck? When your other Adolescence character attacks, this gets 1000 power, so he could become a 65 clean cut. Kind of cool. Okay. Anti-change Tomoe, it looks like. Oh, no, not even anti-change. Sorry, I saw send that character to clock. When you use this card's backup, choose one of your battling characters. When the card's battle opponent is reversed, send the top card of your opponent's clock to waiting room, and if you do, send that character to clock. So, clock kick, clock bomb backup instead of like a memory kick backup. I kind of like this more. It's still removal and everything. Interesting. Okay. Let's see. Okay, so we saw the vanilla Kaede earlier. Sakuta that says they gain the following 2 effects. They gain 1,000 power, and when this is reversed, reveal the top card of your deck. If that card is level 1 or higher, may return this to hand. So it can bounce those vanillas back to try to reuse. Shoko. Choose up to 2 of your characters. It turns 2 of your characters into clock bomb reversers. Interesting. Being able to give it to like 2 characters is kind of nice. Because, I mean, then you're like fucking... Well, you could turn this, you can give it to itself, and then turn like a random level 0 just into that. Like, that's kind of funky. Oh, especially... especially with cards like this... That, okay, if this Shoko gave it to the vanilla Kaede, the vanilla Kaede is now a reverser that can possibly bounce back to hand. Interesting. Okay, cool. Okay, I kind of like that. Rio, if your opponent has a level 3 or higher, she's an early play. Place on stage from hand, reveal the top card. If it's an adolescence, you may put the top card of your opponent's deck into the waiting room. If you do, choose one of your opponent's front row level 3 or lower characters, send it to the top of their deck. A very interesting removal. Doesn't say center stage, so you can get rid of back row. We have a 2-2 event, and we're already done with green. Hell yeah. 7-minute speed run. Right. If you don't have a character with Knapsack Girl in its name, this cannot be played from hand. Send this to memory. So you just pay the 2 to send it to memory. Then, if this is in your memory at the start of your draw phase, flip this face-up card face down. If you do, deal 2 damage to your opponent. It's just kind of a 2... It's a 2 burn that's just kind of waiting. Interesting. Okay. Wonky. We have the gold bars screaming at you. Look at that smile. Don't you want to protect it? Anyway. I'm sorry. Yelling into the mic like that. All right. So we have... Reds now. We're into the other Mai's. So the first one is a 0015 Mai. When this is placed on stage from hand... here we go. Pay 1, put the top card of your deck into clock, search your deck for up to 1 level 1 or lower character, show it to your opponent, add it to hand. At the end of this card's attack, or when this is reversed, if you have 1 or less cards in memory, you may send this to memory. Okay, so this is very interesting because the level 3 Mai said you had to have like several characters in memory. So it's like you better get this in like level 0, like at level 0 or at level 1 while you can. But there's plenty of other Mai's from the first couple sets that send to memory, so it's kind of whatever. But the Ricky effect is definitely something to be coveted. All right. Oh, God, yeah, here we go. It's probably going to be the setup for the entire game, is this. 1035 Mai. When this attacks, if you have the door climax in your climax area, you have 2 or more other adolescence characters. Look up to 3 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 1 card amongst them, add it to hand. Okay. Send the rest to waiting room. When this attacks, if you have the 00 Mai in your memory, this turn, this gets 3k power, so she'll be a 6/5 with the door 7/5. Well, she gets this effect regardless of the climax, so you can still do this. And during the trigger step, you can perform trigger check twice. If you trigger twice, put the top card of your stock into your waiting room. So you trigger check twice, but you still only generate 1 stock overall at the end of the attack. So still you can try to trigger more, but it looks like you're going to be running like double door. Like if you do these 2, maybe there's a better climax combo, but it seems to be this. I don't know. Reason being is this just recently got put on the JP ban list. As like a, I don't know if it was straight up, I don't remember if it was straight up banned. Future me, please post a picture. But this was definitely up there as like a restriction or something along those lines. This card got hit. So that's the main thing to take away from this, because everybody and their mother was apparently running Bunny Girl. So this 3-2 Mai is a 10k on play heal 1. When this attacks, if you have the door trigger in your climax area and you have 5 or less hand. So you have like a Gura-esque effect. You have 3 or more other characters. You can pay 1, pitch 1. That's a very low cost. If you do, perform the following X times. The effect is send the bottom 2 cards of your opponent's deck to the waiting room. If there's a climax amongst those, burn 2. X is equal to 2 if you have 3 or less cards with different names in your memory. It's equal to 3 if you have 4 or more. So you still get to perform the effect twice, whether you have nothing in memory or not. Yeah, because it says if you have 3 or less, meaning if you have 0 cards in memory, you can still do this effect twice for just a pay 1, pitch 1. And you still have to have 5 or less hand when you do this, so your hand is gonna be very low for this. So you do want to have the 4 or more memory to try to get this off 1 extra time and really, really get value for this. Just seems to be the way to go, which is understandable. So you're going to have a lot of cards that deal with memory for this, and there's plenty of other ones from the previous sets, because I was trying to work together for the my deck for Bunny Girl, and then all the cards like shot up in price because this set got announced, and I was like, okay, fun. All right, so that is it for the double rares for red. Let's continue through. On attack, give someone a buff. If you have no other characters in back row, look at 2 cards on top of your deck. Choose up to 1 level 0 or lower adolescence character amongst them. Place it on stage in any back row slot and send the rest to waiting room. This is kind of nice. For like a level 0 starter, it's not bad. Go Kaede. Kaede, this is... So this could be really useful because you have several level 0s that if they get reversed, you can send them to memory. So this could be something to get those back. On play, discard a card, choose a level 0 or lower adolescence character in waiting room, place it on any stage. Place it on stage in any slot. When this attacks, choose one of your characters. It gets 4k power. Just okay. You can give it to herself, but I mean, you could also give it to your level 0. I guess that also works with like that vanilla that becomes like, or you can make it become like a reverser or a anti-change reverser and everything. I don't know. Just kind of funky. We have a level 1 reverser Mai. When this is reversed, pay 1, pitch 1, send this to memory, search your deck for an adolescence character. Another good card to send to memory, or that can be sent to memory for a different name. Oh, actually, I said different names. Yeah, okay. With different names in memory, so you do have to have different names. Okay. I figured that was it, but I figure it's also good to go back and double check. Dot your I's and cross your T's, as they say. Boop-a-doop. Kind of interesting. It's a 2-1 Mai that's a level assist. On play, if you have a full field, choose an adolescence in waiting room, send it to stock, so it pays for itself. When you trigger a climax with a door trigger, if you have 2 or more cards in memory with different names, look at the top card of your opponent's deck and put it on top or bottom of their deck. Then choose one of your characters. This turn, it gets 1500 power. Okay, so this is interesting in the, if you do trigger something, it's kind of interesting to look at the top card of your opponent's deck. If it's a climax, to put it on the bottom, specifically for the bottom deck effect here to try to burn. Not only do you get rid of damage off the top of the deck, but you set up for the level 3, which is kind of crazy. And then you give a character plus 15. Then we have a 3-2 Mai. Placed on stage from hand or by the effect of a particular blue event. Choose up to 1 door in, so probably specifically for this one. Okay, cool. So this can grab back its own climax. Always nice. On attack, if you have the door, until the end of your opponent's next turn. When the character across from this attacks, perform the following effect 3 times. Look at the top card of your deck, put it on top of your deck or into the waiting room. Holy balls. Okay, and I'm assuming this event is like an early play thing, so that's going to be interesting. This doesn't rely on anything with memory. It just kind of says, okay, cool, I'm going to try to mill until I see a climax, and then that climax is just going to say negate, bye. That's going to be funny. 3-2 Nodoka. If you have the standby in your climax area, all of your characters get 1500 power. Okay. Oh, so if you like summon this off of that, okay. At the start of your encore step, if this is in your front row and all of your opponent's front row slots are empty, or all of your opponent's front row characters are reversed, pay 2, burn 2. Interesting. Okay. Alright, go Nodoka. Sakuta just like looking smug AF. Anyway. Let's see. On play, pitch an Adolescence, draw 1. On play, pitch a Climax, salvage an Adolescence. Okay. The whole clock swap. On play, pay 1, pitch 1, swap a card in clock, and then put the top card of the deck in the clock. This grabs that specific blue event from Waiting Room. Okay. Sorry, I'm checking the time every so often. This is a bounce back when you play a Climax, so probably a staple for Standby. Okay. My goodness. 1025. Gains 3k power. If there are no red cards in your memory, choose one of the specific 00 Mai, the double rare one, in your waiting room and send it to memory. So, once again, another way just to get everything into memory. And let you trigger check twice. Interesting. Okay, so here's the anti-change. It's another Kaede. Yeah, because the last one was a Kaede. Anyway, 2500 backup. Pay 2, send a character from stage to waiting room to send a higher level character to your opponent's waiting room. Let's see. 2-1 Mai. When this attacks, if you have 2 or more cards in your memory with different names, this gains 1500 power times the number of your opponent's characters. Act. Send this standing character to memory. Very easy way to throw a card into memory. Search your deck for up to one of the new level 3 Mai or the level 1 Mai that we showed in the double rares. And this has +2. This has 2 soul. Interesting. So you can either attack with it or specifically search your deck for one of the others. And this is just very nice. Okay. So she can either attack number of opponent's characters times 15. How much is that? If your opponent had a full field, that's times 5. That's 7,500. She could pick up a 12-5 off of that, and she has 2 soul. Interesting. 2-2 Kaede, a standby target. During your turn, all of your other Adolescence characters get 1k. If you have 2 or more other Adolescence characters, this gains 35 and character encore. Adolescence character encore. So she's a 95, and if you have like another copy of her on field, she'll gain the extra 1,000. Okay. 3-2 Kaede, what do you got? Place on stage from hand, choose it to one character from your hand whose level is equal or lower than your level. Place it on stage on any slot. And that character gets 2k, so be able to summon 2 level 3s. Place on stage from hand if you... Oh, nice. On play, pay 2. Your opponent sends all of their stock to their deck and shuffles their deck, puts an equal number of cards on the top of their deck into stock. The stock shufflers are becoming more prolific. I've seen more of those recently than the typical, like, make your opponent send stock to waiting room and then put the same blind stocked. Because it doesn't change how many climaxes are in the opponent's... This doesn't change how many climaxes are in the opponent's deck directly. Well, I mean, it has a chance of doing so, but it's different. It doesn't affect the stock as much, whereas you know, oh, I know my opponent has like completely and totally clean stock versus now everything's a mystery. At the end of the day, this still makes like everything be a mystery, but it's also cost more. It's not as good as the typical stock swap that you see. At least in my opinion, it's not. It's still good, but it also costs more. But I guess it's costing more because you're also summoning like probably another level 3 for free. So that's where that comes from. Kind of understandable. All right. On play, give a character it can't move, and an act to pay 1, sack this, look at the top 4, add Adolescence to hand. Okay. Just generic good card. Oh no, here we go. I saw Irreplaceable Existence, which is like the very first set, a level 3 Mai. When this is placed on stage from hand, if you have that in memory, reveal the top card of your deck. If it's an Adolescence or an event, add it to hand and then discard 1 card. Always fun. Let's see. Trigger a climax with a door trigger. Choose up to 2 of your characters. They gain 1,000. Okay, so we have another send this to memory. Send this standing character to memory if you're level 2 or higher. Look at up to 2 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 1 card amongst them. Add to hands and the rest to winning. Okay, just once again, more cards to send to memory. I like the memory, having certain number of cards in memory for effects, as opposed to like regular experience stuff. But there's stuff to fix all of that now, so it's kind of whatever. When this is placed on stage from hand, discard a card. Choose a level X or lower adolescence character from your waiting room. Add it to hand. X is equal to the number of the specific level 3 Mai that we saw before. The number 54. That was the other. This climax combo to top check 100 fucking times. So you specifically, based off of how many of that is in your waiting room. Still interesting. Okay. Knapsack Girl, Sakuta, and Mai. Let's see. Place the stage. You get to nuke one of your opponent's cost 0 lowers. If they only have like 1 or less. Choose all of your character. If all of your characters are adolescents. Look at up to 2 from the top of your deck. Okay, cool. Just the typical like Nino top check thing. Coin flip effect, and if this gets reversed, top check if it's level 2 or higher, rest this. At the start of your climax phase, if you have a card in your memory, choose one of your adolescence characters. This turn it gets 3k power. So you could give that to someone else still. A level 1 memory kick. It's only 2k backup, but it's at level 1 as opposed to level 2. Okay. If a 1/1 on attack, it gets a buff and has character encore. It's another like standby target. The Sakuta. Oh, okay, this is interesting. Okay, that same Mai that lets you top check a whole bunch. During your opponent's attack phase, when the damage you take is canceled and you have that level 3 Mai, and this has 2 or less markers, because it has an effect to put markers underneath. Choose. Oh no, you do this specific. Okay, if you have 2 or less markers, choose an adolescence character in waiting room, put it underneath this card face down as a marker. At the start of your climax phase, if you have 3 or more markers underneath this card, send all markers underneath this to waiting room, deal 1 damage to your opponent. So you can basically, like, the idea would be to have like 3 of that level 3 Mai and 2 of this in the back row. 1 to give those those level 3 Mai's a whole bunch of power, because assist to level 3 or higher characters. They're going to be huge. But then you're top checking like a whole bunch. Hopefully every single one of those cancels. And then you end up under both of them. You would get to put 3 markers. And then possibly burn your opponent once each for each of the Sakutas. That would be the ideal thing, but obviously that's probably not going to happen as much. We have an event, and we're done with red. Send this to memory. Choose up to 2 characters with Mai in its name in your waiting room. Add them to hand, then discard 1 card. If you have 6 or more climaxes with the door trigger in your waiting room, you can pay 1. Shuffle all cards from your waiting room into your deck, then draw 1 card and discard 1 card. Whole bunch of effects on 1 card. This is very nice. You get to salvage back stuff, but then you also get to... You have the option of being able to refresh. So it's completely and totally optional, which is very, very fine. So, and then we show off the salvage triggers. The standby trigger we don't get to see. So sad. They don't want to give too much more to standby, but there was already plenty of standby in the earlier sets of Bunny Girl Senpai as it is. All right, now to the blues. I didn't realize I'd accidentally flipped my mouse. All right, so to the blues, we are going to showcase the double rares. Let's see. 00-1500 Rio. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can pay 1 stock if you do search your deck for 1 climax. Show it to your opponent, then choose up to 1 climax in your hand, swap them, and shuffle your deck afterwards. Oh, so basically it's a climax swapper, but you swap from deck as opposed to waiting room, which is still cool. When this is sent from stage to waiting room, you can discard 1 card. If you do, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose 1 level 1 or higher card amongst them. Show it to your opponent. Add it to hand. Send the rest to a waiting room. So on death, you get to. It's a level 0 Fubuki that does like the same thing. So we have a 0/0/1500 Shoko. During your opponent's turn, if you have 4 or more hand, this gets +1 level and 1500 power and the following ability. At the start of your opponent's attack phase, you may move this to an empty front row slot with a character across from it. Also, it has an act to discard a card, sack this to salvage back any adolescence character. This is just good in general, just a great starter card, and then this effect to be able to salvage back whatever the hell you need. Very nice. Knapsack Girl. We have 1/0/3500 Knapsack Girl. I wonder who she could possibly be. During your turn, this gains 3k power, so she'll be a 65. At the end of this card's attack, if you had the pants trigger in play, so she'll be a 75, and you have 2 or more other adolescence characters, look at the top card of your deck. Choose up to 1 adolescence character or an event, show it to your opponent, add it to hand, send the rest to waiting room. Then you may send this to memory. Oh, if you do at the start of your next draw phase, choose 1 of this card from memory and place it on stage in any slot. Okay. So that's actually interesting. Okay, hold on. It says at the end of this card's attack, even if she gets reversed, you can just bounce her out. Interesting. I mean, short of your opponent having some kind of removal effect. I mean, in case you're not able to get over your opponent's character, even if they back up, whatever, she gets reversed, whatever. It's at the end of this card's attack. It's not during the encore step or anything. She still saves herself. Interesting. So she basically, it doesn't matter. She's just immortal and keeps coming back. That's got to be annoying, though. If you have 2 or 3 of these, and in an 8 pants deck or something, you're just able to keep doing this over and over and over with just a field full of these. That's kind of nuts. Let's be real. I don't see anything that's preventing that. I'm double checking one more time. I don't see anything. I'm guessing you had to be able to add something to hand and then send to memory. I don't know. But it's just really funny if you're able to do that. Anyway, that's it for the double rares. Let's continue through. We got 20 more cards to go through. This has an effect to bounce back itself and another character. Shoko. Oh, it lets you early play another Shoko from one of the previous sets. Oh, sorry, I had to yawn. Alright. Tomoe. When this is placed on stage from hand, you can search for Petite Devil Kohai, which was a level 1 from the first set. The first or second set. I think it was a level 1. And it goes... The rest of the effects are just involving that particular Tomoe. You can rest this to give that Tomoe 2500 power and a soul. You can discard a copy of it and rest this to salvage back a character in waiting room. It's just solely focused around that specific character. I'm fairly certain it was a level 1, is whatever. I do like the callbacks to the cards from the earlier sets and everything. That's very nice. So we have a Rio that does the same thing. Logical Witch, I think, was a level 3. It gives that level 3 3,500 power and the ability on attack pitch to burn 1. A very easy early play Shoko. Heals on play as well, so this is going to be good. Gets bigger. Oh, it's kind of like the one early play Rem from ReZero. It keeps getting markers underneath it and just gets bigger the more markers you put. Very nice, very nice. Pay 1, sack this. Bring back a specific Shoko. It gets a buff and A memory kick effect. Okay. Knapsack girl. If you are level 1 or higher at the start of your climax phase, you can... While this is in your waiting room, if you are level 1 or higher at the start of your climax phase, pay 1, pitch 1, place this on stage in any front row slot. It can just summon itself and is a bottom deck reverser anti-change. That's kind of nice. I'm gonna be real. Okay, cool. This knapsack girl does what? Just top card deck of its adolescence or better. It has like a faux climax combo and it gets pretty big. Okay, cool. Sakuta. When it's placed on stage from hand, discard, put the top card of your clock into stock, and this gains 3k power. At the end of this card's attack, if you have another of the Mai that top check stuff, you can pay 3, pitch 1, burn 4. Interesting. 3/2 knapsack girl on play, draw 2, pitch 1. At the start of your climax phase, if you return this to hand, you summon the 3/2 knapsack girl, number 37, in your hand onto stage in this card's former slot. Okay. Which would be really useful if you could like tap it for an effect or something, and then it bounces back, and then the new level 3 knapsack girl comes out not tapped. So interesting. This is a Sakuta that it has hex proof. Start of your climax phase, if you are level 2 or higher and you have a 0/0 Sakuta, in your memory, choose one of a 2/1 Sakuta in your waiting room, place it on stage in this card's former slot. Oh, so this also goes to memory to kind of set up for some stuff. Interesting. Also, you have an act of rest this, give a character 1500 power. Okay. You have to have a completely different Sakuta in memory to do this, but it's whatever. Okay. Knapsack girl. What we got? Place on stage, give a character 15. On attack, give a character 15. Another knapsack. Place on stage from hand, choose one of your opponent's back row characters. The level higher than their level and the character does not stand. It's also a pay 1, pitch 1 drop searcher. Okay. We have a climax combo. When the pants is placed on your climax area, you have 3 or more other characters. Choose one of your other characters this turn that it gains. When this card's damage is canceled, look at up to 4 cards from the top of your deck. Choose up to 2 level 1 or higher cards amongst them. Show them your opponent, add them to hand, send the rest to waiting room. Interesting. It just feels weird to have that on a pants, but I mean, hell, it's whatever. All the more reason to have cards that would like pump up your levels and stuff to try to get this to go off, or your soul, that one level 2 that did this. But and this is also like early on. I think it's even funnier with the other knapsack girl that can just keep bouncing in and out of memory, just as long as you like keep getting those pants triggers over and over and over again. Just doing that repeatedly just seems funny as hell to me. And you're just like, it's just soul rushing like a mug. Anyway. 1/0. Sakuta's mom. The mom is back. Top card of your clock. Draw 2, pitch 2, alarm effect. On play, discard a card. I'll make your opponent downgrade a character. Okay. It's a knapsack girl backup that becomes like if your opponent has a climax, instead of a 2500 backup, it becomes a 4500 backup. That's kind of big. Okay. And then lastly, we have a 2/0 event. Choose one of the following 2 effects and resolve it. Either give 2 of your characters 2500 power, or send one of your characters to waiting room. Send one of your standing level 0 Sakutas to memory. And then pay 1. If you do, choose a 3/2 Mai, the top checking one, in your waiting room. Place it on stage in any slot. Oh yeah, because if it was summoned by this event, you get to heal. And this turn, it gains the following ability. Or not heal, it was something else. It gives that same my hexproof. We'll go back in a second. Also, we have a promo Kaede. Gives you trigger check and the sacking itself to bounce on your opponent's characters. Okay, so it did something when it was summoned by this particular effect. And then gives that hexproof. Let me go back to that. It was 54, so we're gonna boogity boogity boogity. Please do not watch if you have epilepsy. Oh no, it lets you grab back the door climax. I was like, it did something. I don't know why I was thinking heal. I'm sorry. It lets you grab back the door climax and give itself a buff. All right, that is going to be it for us today. Always love me some Bunny Girl Senpai. I really hope that there's no issues and that we continue to get the regular SPs that we were promised. But at the same time, if anything is said after like the recording of this, if I don't immediately upload this to schedule it to come out like a month from now, I will try to edit a note in at the beginning of the video or right here, something of that nature. I will try to edit something in to say like, hey, there's been a change, but if there's been no changes and you don't see any edits on the screen right now, probably not a good sign. I really hope they stop trying to give a shit that doesn't have the actual SPs that the players want. I really hope they do change it. I really, really hope they don't give us the hot stamp or anything. I hope it's still SPs. That's what I meant to say. Sorry. I hate what they did with Kenshin, and it makes me not want to buy the set anymore. The same thing would happen to this set. Meta be damned. There's going to be a lot less people picking it up if there's like the hot stamp quotes instead of actual SPs. Missing the my SP or something, you know? But it said there was supposed to be hot stamp signs on their website. It's just really concerning when you see this is going to differ from the Japanese product. Like, yeah, that's in another fucking language. Like, be more specific, please. Anyway, that is going to be it for us today. Thank y'all very much for watching. Feel free to do all that YouTuber stuff. Hit that like button, subscribe, all that jazz. I'm excited for more Bunny Girl regardless, because I can still just pick up the non-shiny versions and possibly still do something with it if I still have cards that haven't gone up in price and haven't sold at that point. But that is going to be it for us today. If you want to join the Discord, feel free to click the link in the description to join the Discord. And we will see y'all on the flip side. Stay based.